Good evening, and welcome to an episode of Mowing After Dark, the latest FCS football podcast to move up to FBS football podcast status. It only cost us a carton of cigarettes, American Spirits, by the way. We got the good stuff, and half a bottle of Mad Dog 2020 Blueberry Bling Bling. How are you doing tonight, Rock?
I'm doing good, man. Look, I'm glad that we're going from the freaking crazy shit to the freaking bullshit conference. So,
That's right.
division of college football. So, there we go.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even know where to start.
About $23 million, probably.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yes, if I had $23 million. Sacramento State is now in the MAC conference. The Mid-American Conference is now represented by Sacramento State as a football-only member.
I'm glad we're getting to restore some of those treasured rivalry games that we never had.
Yeah, okay. Let's get it out of the way. The Ball Sack rivalry game, Ball State versus Sacramento State, the Ball Sack Trophy.
Look, that one's great, and we will definitely have a competition for everyone to generate their best virtual AI fake rivalry game trophy for that one. And we'll do that. Let's just hope that they do match up this year, and it's not something weird.
Hey, listen, I think it's a little nuts, but whatever.
You don't have to be a dick about. You don't have to be a dick about it, Moen.
Hey, gonads. And then we have North Dakota State, perennial FCS national champion, powerhouse, moving to the Mountain West as a football-only member.
That one I am completely 10,000% on board with, especially because for the last 9 years, all of the FBS teams have been ducking them since they upset Iowa at Iowa. And they had a 9-5 record since they went from got up to FCS against the FBS, and also 10 titles in 15 years is kind of, you probably have earned your decision to move up to the FBS. And I'm guessing, Mo, and I don't know what your take would be. I think maybe all 6 G6 conferences would have taken them, but at the worst 5. The only one I'm not sure is maybe the American wouldn't have taken them for whatever random reason, but everybody else would have taken them, in my opinion.
I don't think the Pac-12 would have. I think the Pac-12.
Then they're as stupid as a stupid does, as far as Doug would say.
Mountain West, the North Dakota State, and we'll roll in. We'll say hello to everybody. I promise. North Dakota State in the Mountain West makes sense. It makes a lot more sense than Northern Illinois in the Mountain West. But Sacramento State in the Mid-American Conference, there is no logic in there. Are we expanding the MAC to add a West Coast division?
Right. Yeah, it doesn't make any... You could almost understand it from a Conference USA or a Sun Belt. Not that it still would make sense, but they've at least spread their wings a little bit further geographically, historically, for whatever reason. Obviously, the American has done that, and Pac-12 is going across 3 time zones anyway. The MAC in particular, it just reeks of 2 people left at the bar, and that was the only option either had, and one was desperate for a ride anywhere, and the other one needed money for gas.
Yeah, definitely something we're going to be talking about tonight. Shonsky, it's not the same thing the Big Ten did. The Big Ten added 4 West Coast schools.
Yeah, Shonsky, listen, I agree with a lot of your things that you say in here, and some of the contrarian stuff is both right at times and, if not, at least entertaining or thought-provoking, but it's at least the Big Ten brought 4 teams over at one shot. Others have at least moved over just 1 or 2 states. What the MAC did, where the vast majority of the teams are in the state of Ohio and just circling that state, makes no... Clearly, the MAC does not believe in geography departments, and Sacramento State doesn't know what it doesn't know.
And to be fair, there was a fuss in the MAC when they added UMass.
Right. UMass is like almost might as well be an Akron compared to Sacramento State.
It was the outlier. UMass. But now we've got Sacramento State. I don't think it's a good look for the MAC, but hey, get paid, I guess. Outlaw Sky says first, go Buckeyes. The Big Lubbock says the real first. Oh hey Moen and Rock, that's from Buckshot.
What's up, Buckshot?
Sack to the back. Unless we can get more Western teams out there and have a whack MAC.
Yeah, I was gonna say sack to the MAC is truly whack.
Yeah. The real first. The realist first. Hi everyone. Are we going to have MAC after dark? Yes. Get ready for MACtion from Sacramento.
I do hope that all of these teams have charter flights, because Sacramento, I would be guessing, does not have a lot of commercial direct flights for most of their games that they're going to play. So not that I'm thinking a ton of fans are going to be making a trip west, but for everybody, there's nothing wrong with Sacramento. There's some really good, cool, interesting parts. Sacramento is definitely not on the coast, though. It's on a coastal state, but it is not on the coast.
Yes. And Sacramento is geographically different from the MAC as you can possibly get.
Yes. Now, the upside, if you get a late game against Sacramento State in November, you have an awesome drive to one of the best places in the world. That's Lake Tahoe. But Sacramento State is not in Lake Tahoe.
That's true. Stephen Vitt says, I think you guys knew I'd be here tonight. Stephen, hey, listen, I was against Ohio leaving the MAC. Leave the MAC. Leave it.
Yeah.
Go. And you've got a reasonable excuse now. Go. Our friend Kaden the Diesel Freak has gifted 1 membership to the College Football Mafia family. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that membership went to AG Biochemist. So, AG Biochemist, if you are here in the chat, make sure you give a big shout out to Kaden the Diesel Freak for gifting you that membership. You now have access to all the members-only emojis as well as their members-only video section. New video just last week, 2014 Big Ten. What are the odds? We put the odds out there. We put the pods out there. We did everything out there except put the dentist odds out there. And then we've got a super chat from Jacobra Cat. Twitter says Ball State versus Stack State game will be nuts. Yes. The jokes write themselves, but I'm just going to say I think they're low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, I mean, they're I don't know. It's a huge erection for them to build this up.
Listen, nobody needs to get testy about it. We'll come up with a fine name for it. And then we've got a super chat from Jaden the Diesel Freak. Geez, the FCS has a lot of teams trying to pull big upsets and wins. Appalachian State versus UNC was absolutely absurd. See, this is kind of what I really don't like about these FCS call-ups. So the Appalachian State upset of Michigan takes a little hit when Appalachian State became an FBS program.
A little bit, but it's still Goliaths in that zone, right? Certainly it's another tier, but if Appalachian State were to walk into Michigan again and pull it off, it certainly wouldn't have like the first time moment, but you'd be dunking on them for at least a year.
Hope no one in the ball sack game gets the shaft. I don't know. It could get a little hairy in there.
Yeah, that would be a dick move.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Jacobra Cat. This is just going to be every dick and ball joke that we know tonight.
It's definitely going to be something to keep your eye on.
Kenneth Maynard, there is going to have to be some consolidation into the American and Pac-12 if this continues. There will be a clear separation between the elite of the G6 and the rest. ECU has been FBS since 1932. And he's a pirate. He would know. Let's see. What do we got here for you? Here we go.
We're not just doing this for money. We're doing it for a shitload of money.
That's the MAC commissioner.
Hey, Kenneth, I'm curious. Is it the chalk that Emory Williams will be the starting quarterback there after the spring, or is it a competition? Emory transferred from Miami right after the national championship game to East Carolina. And I like Emory as a guy who was a good teammate, a good guy. Just never got his real shot. I'm curious to see what he can do if he gets that shot. So let us know.
And thanks for being a member for 7 months, Pirate Man. We appreciate that. Expedition Greg's in the house. He's been a member for 19 months. Hey, everyone. I wonder what's next after Sac State. What's left? Can we get to that? What's left? I mean, what FCS program gets called up next?
Oh, there's three that I think are easy to think could do it, and they're all in the same vicinity of not Sacramento State. There's South Dakota State, there's Montana and Montana State, and then eventually the one that is almost certainly going to happen because it's already sort of predestined is Cal Davis, right, who's already going to be in the Mountain West for the other sports anyway. So if they ever wanted to take their football up, they're just going to add it to their conference affiliation.
Absolutely. There's other schools too that I think probably could have moved up a little easier.
There's like 16, I thought, that deserve to be there ahead of Sacramento State.
And listen, I was all for the MAC expanding. I think the MAC needed to expand. I was looking forward to the MAC expanding, maybe enlarging their footprint, but I was thinking like Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee State, somewhere in the Mid-American region. It's one thing for the Big Ten and the ACC to do this. They can afford to put all that travel out there, especially when SMU bought their way into the ACC and put all that money out there. But I think you're probably right. South Dakota State is going to be the next one to go, and then probably both Montana schools. I think those are the most likely ones. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
If they have that check, the challenge is, right, now we know that the we're not desperate fee and we're a valued member edition is the North Dakota State check, right? The $12 million. +5.
+5. G6 needs to reform as a separate organized division. That's from Sergeant Pickles. He's been a member for 30 months. Holy hell. Let's see here. Play this.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Fantastic movie.
On principle, I understand where Pickles is coming, and I'm not even saying that he's wrong, but someone is going to have to show the world that the G6, even with their only one guaranteed slot in the college football playoff right now in that organization, can get a contract that's within the ballpark of what they get as members of the college football playoff currently for a dedicated G6 playoff kind of scenario, because none of us know that actually exists, or else they wouldn't be so desperate to. I think there's two reasons the G6 want to stay. One, they want access for obvious reasons, and every once in a while, not only is a team going to get into the top 12 because of the highest ranking G6 in the leapfrog, but every once in a while, you're going to have a G6 team like Boise that was just pure getting into the top 10 because of what they were achieving on the field anyway. The question is, if they were to split off, if that motivation was there, what's that check? Because they're not going to, when you're accepting Sacramento State coming into the MAC for the money, essentially, you're not going to then say, let's self-exclude from the playoff unless ESPN and the powers that be give you a path of making money in a dedicated G6, and maybe still the possibility of one of your members making it into the so-called group of Power Four playoff if that were to materialize. That's the question I have. I don't debate that it might not be a good path in the long run.
Well, it certainly showed that the MAC is open for business.
Yeah, listen, I think if you want to go into play, FBS football, just open up Football Tinder and keep swiping until the MAC logo comes on, and you should be good.
Get
Sure
one.
But you got to tell them where the dinner's going to be.
Yeah, get one of your boosters. You know the price. You know what they've been paid. So let's get ready for more MAC schools like.
But remember, they're escorts.
Yeah, Louisiana Basin Stilt University is now joining the MAC. Moen, the FCS.
They're escorts, Moen. They're not prostitutes. They're escorts. They're high class.
Oh, okay. Okay, they're high class. Ahua is Ahua. Moen, the FCS is more absurd than they were before, and it's seriously stupid. Ball versus sack, and then delusional fans talking out their asses.
Well, Sacramento State is delusional. North Dakota State is not delusional talking trash. If they get that exception for getting into the playoffs or a bowl season this year, I think they're one of the 10 likeliest best odds G6 teams to get the G6 playoff spot. They might not get it year one. Maybe they'll be wrong, but I think it's entirely possible. Look how fast a school like JMU advanced into FCS to FBS to being on everyone's radar for sure this year.
Yeah, but I don't think Sacramento State is going to do quite that well.
No, I think Sacramento State has a very high chance of going 0-12.
Yeah, I think they're about to get Munson.
It's a tough world. These kids nearly got Munson, but they're back now.
Thank you for the super chat, Kaden. Appreciate it. Another super chat here from the Evil Badger. It's too bleeping easy to make the jump up, do D2 or D3, jump to the FCS.
Yes, they do.
I do agree with Ryan. I think it is way too easy.
Yes.
The price tag needs to go up. Thank you for the super chat, Ryan. Let me see if I've got my stinking Badgers here.
3 Badgers. Badgers? Badgers? We don't need no stinking Badgers!
From the great UHF. Jacoba Cat with the ball sack game slaps the taint while on all fours. Well, there's not even any innuendo there, brother. That's straight.
Look, I came here for an argument. I'm not going to just... Oh, I'm sorry, but this is abuse.
That's just abusing it, man. You're just...
Yeah, you're just slapping that monkey.
Yeah, I mean, come on. A little innuendo in the endo. My intento. Here's my question for you, Rock. So right now we have a G6. Does this consolidate to a G5? Or does this game of musical chairs and FCS teams buying their way up result in a G7?
I don't think there's going to be a G7 because someone would have to start that, right? And therefore they would have to be I don't think it's going to start from the top. I don't think you're going to see anything like the biggest brands in the G6 forming the best of the G6 conference, because the ones that might have that ability to want to have better competition are also likely to get called up to the Power Four for backfills and the ACC as an example, right? If and when that does happen, so you'd almost have to have the twins scenario where all the bad DNA go, the Danny DeVitos of the conferences get pushed out, and they got to form their own. Their new Bad News Bears G7 conference. I just think people know who's open for business, to quote John Coons' name for his podcast now, in Brett Yormark style. And we know the MAC can be bought, right? We don't know that Conference USA can't be bought or the Sun Belt can't be bought. And I'm guessing after they saw they were already a mishmash anyway. So I'm guessing they can be bought just like the MAC could be bought.
Yeah, Rock and Rant NDSU fans are just as delusional as Tennessee fans when they had too many drinks and saying they were going to beat Ohio State. Jeez. And then they got upset when we played Hang On Sloopy on their jukeboxes.
Yeah, look, everyone has their delusional moments. All of us have them. But they at least, North Dakota State at least has a track record to run on with that, right? They have beaten FBS teams. They have won national titles at the other level at a ridiculous rate, right? They have 18 in their history, 10 at the FCS level. So doesn't mean that, we all can be delusional at our own times. I spent 20 years being delusional and winning the offseason, so I understand what it's like.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think? Is it better to be the big fish in a little pond? Because that is what North Dakota State was. Now they are going to be more of a medium-sized little fish in a much bigger pond.
I mean, it depends. Like, if you're okay playing in a place where there's only one movie theater and it shows the same movie for 2 months in the old school way, then it's better, right? If you want to be Biff in Back to the Future in your high school. But if you want to expand your wings and see how high you can go, I think you got to take the shot. Like the flip side of that equation is, I mean, what will the 13th FCS title mean for them versus the chance to be on a bigger stage and play more teams that are more interesting and help improve the program? Forget, they have more first round draft picks over the last 10 years, including an offensive lineman just won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, than a lot of Power 4 teams do. If you look at the Sagarin rankings for this last year, which is one of the only ones that does FBS and FCS together, they were 40th in Sagarin's rankings. So it doesn't take a mathematician, and it certainly doesn't take a geography professor to see that location means that they were well ahead of a lot of Power 4 things in his power rankings.
Yeah, my concern though is and Daniel Gygax released a great short today. Check it out on the channel. How many teams in the last 3 years have moved up from FCS to FBS?
Well, Delaware did, and they had a decent first year.
Right, but is this going to be the gold rush? Now, is five
more like the platinum rush? It's more like the platinum rush.
Is $5 million too low? Is $5 million? That's the fee now. It's $5 million to move from FCS.
That's not really the
to
fee.
FBS.
The fee is the entry. The fee isn't the $5 million, really, right? That's not the harbinger. So if you do it at 10, at a certain point, if you go too high, you're going to get sued again in the NCAA for antitrust, right? So they have to be conscious of that. But Sacramento State would have gotten in for $5 million if they were allowed to go independent. They were not. The fee now is the bar that was set for FCS specifically. It's the North Dakota State to the Mountain West fee, which was $12 million, and then the money that that Sacramento State is paying to MAC. It's not Northern Illinois because Northern Illinois was already at FBS level, so that's why their fee was only $2 million to go over to the Mountain West.
Right. But my point is, if that fee was $50 million, does Sac State make the jump? Does North Dakota State make the jump? Does Delaware make the jump? Does James Madison make the jump?
I don't think that they make the jump, but I think that 50 million, like why? If you look at it as a basic tenant, Sacramento State aside, right? Because they're just going to be a punching sack for a while here.
A speed bag, if you will.
To me, James Madison, Delaware, definitely North Dakota State are all better football programs than many teams already in the G6.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but at some point, how big is the G6 going to expand to? That's why I'm asking. You think there's going to be a G7? If we get 12 more teams from the FCS who want to join, I mean, the prices we're now auctioning spots off in the FBS.
But I don't think there's 12 more teams that have that ability. Like Sacramento State is it's an outlier that we probably shouldn't. We should acknowledge, realize it's crazy, but the amount of those schools that have a president willing to essentially spend a ton of money relative to their athletic department's overall budget and their ability to generate revenue with a program that didn't even have a great history anyway, but he feels that he wants the front porch, right, essentially, for Sacramento State in that city, in a city that maybe, because Sacramento is a big city, it's the capital of California, but it's also a fairly large city. It has a pro team, right, for a reason. It's not the biggest of cities, but it's a big metro, and it bleeds very well over into the rest of Northern California as an extreme commuting city for the Bay Area. They have the money lined up that I don't know a lot of other of the FCS schools would be able to do, even at the $5 million right now. And if we think that's too low, knowing the price tag is probably a minimum of what, $17 million to get in.
That's a price tag right now, but that price is obviously going to go up. Who's going to stick with 17 million when you know that you can?
Oh, for sure. But that's what I mean. Like, I don't think there's a lot of other FCS teams that have both the will, the capability, and the, to use a cliche term now, alignment, through either their state officials to their private officials. If it's a private school, most of these teams we're talking about that are public entities. I don't see it being a mad rush to get 12 more teams. And so I'm thinking the Mountain West and the Pac-12 certainly can absorb more teams if they wanted to. Pac-12, you can argue definitely needs more. MAC clearly can. They could probably do one more tomorrow, so they have an even number of teams. Now they're in the the dreaded zone of 13. It doesn't really work great for scheduling. You can have an odd, 9 is great for scheduling as an odd number in a conference at a small level, but it's not great beyond that, to not be even in how you're doing stuff. So
another $5 super chat from Kaden the Diesel Freak. North Dakota State hasn't beat Ohio State. Ohio State will beat their ass 56-7, and I'll be telling you that I told you so.
Hey, Kaden, you got any other big games you want to go out on a limb on?
If
there was not one of us here was sitting there thinking that North Dakota State was going to upset Ohio State as part of this move.
But Kaden and I love Ohio State too, and I'm alumni, and I have my differences with them. You can go back and watch Friday's show, but there have been times where I remember them struggling against G6 teams, including a game in Cincinnati that they won very, very late in their national championship season in the early 2000s. So I'm never going to say that Ohio State's going to absolutely whoop somebody unless I'm sure they're absolutely going to whoop somebody. That's why Alabama wants to back out. And we can all acknowledge that Alabama realizes they're going to lose. They'd lose the home and they'd lose the away. And that's why they want to get rid of it.
And listen, Mo, since it's very close by, we can just make sure that Ohio State gets the extra promo Viagra from the ED Bowl between Ball State and Sac State.
Sure. Thoughts on the whole Big Sky rising to FBS like a Ball Sac game outlined in Wild Utes swim trunks to see lifeguards at Salt Lake City's sassiest pool. If you'd have put sassiest saltwater pool in there, Jacoba Cat, you'd have had me with the alliteration. Thoughts on that? That's what I'm saying. How G are we going to G? Are we going to G7, G8, G9?
But those conferences, right, they have to be able to adhere to other requirements in other sports if they're moving up.
Unless they sue.
Unless they sue, of course. Well, maybe we could have the new Trinidad Chambliss thing sponsored by Diego Pavia. I actually don't have a problem with the Trinidad Chambliss thing.
No, man. Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
Kaden the Diesel Freak says Ohio State beats JMU 65-3.
One, thank you for all the super chats. Keep them coming. They're making me laugh. But two, where's the straw man that said that because we believe that North Dakota State is a good addition potentially to FBS? I'm not really talking about whether they're going to beat the Buckeyes in round 2 of the playoffs, but I think it's certainly possible they can beat Utah State.
I'm trying to figure out how you come to the 65. I get the JMU 3 is from a field goal, but that 65, that's
Isn't
what
that-
they go for a late 2-point conversion just to be.
Is that the
complete
Georgia
assholes?
FSU score from a few years back?
I'm not going to make any more enemies of Florida State fans.
That's the only time I can remember that score. I don't even know if that's right, though. Hold on. No, 63-3. I wasn't trying to climb onto Florida State. That's the last number I can remember around there, and I wasn't sure if it like subliminally was hitting Kaden the diesel freak, because that's what happens when you add that diesel fuel to your Mad Dog.
Alabama is scared of Ohio State because we'll beat them. Yep. See, no, he's absolutely right there. First, you got to have the power, Alabama.
This country, you got to make the money first. Then when you get the money, you get the power.
Alabama doesn't have the money or the power. Thank you again for the super chat, Kaden the Diesel Freak. Appreciate it, sir. Georgia versus TCU was 65-7. But how did they get to that score? Was there a 2-point conversion in there just to be dicks? Correct me if I'm wrong. How do you get to 65 with 7s and 3s?
We'll have to ask Mafia AI.
Yeah. There has to be a 2-point conversion or a safety in there somewhere. Is there any way I can join the show? I can't set up phone lines, Kaden, because of the 2-people system. There's like a way I can do it, but I'll be honest with you, I have to figure out how I did it again because I only managed to do it one time before. And Rock will tell you how long I spent on it, rerouting cable output A to cable output B. But you could definitely chat with us here. We will take your chats, obviously. You don't have to super chat.
Yeah. And we have a rule for no visual guests. Yes. If you remember, you will remember. You'll be traumatized forever.
Speaking of the ball sack game, there's a reason we can't have guests joined via cam anymore. I'll let you in. Okay.
Here we go. It could have been any one of these ways, but I don't know how they did it. You can get 9 touchdowns and a safety, 8 touchdowns and 3 field goals, 10 touchdowns, but the kicking team misses 5 extra points, 7 touchdowns, mixed extra points, 4 field goals and a safety, and of course, the way that almost certainly happened, Moen, 21 field goals and a safety, because that's possible.
Totally possible. So Kaden, I cannot open up for phone lines on here. And because of the StreamYard issues we've had in the past, we've got flagged. I don't think you would flag us, but me putting the link out there, anybody can jump on. Unless you want to message me on Twitter, hit me up on Twitter, and I'll open my Twitter. Let me know what your Twitter account is, so that way I could get it to you on a behind the scenes level. Because otherwise, if I just put it out there, anybody can jump on and show their dick to us. And, with all the ball sack stuff going on, somebody's going to make that jump.
And we wouldn't see it coming.
How long ago was the mooning? Like a year ago? It wasn't a mooning. It was not a mooning.
It was a full frontal assault, man.
It was. It was. And, and that wasn't the only problem we had with it. Then I started blocking the video cameras, remember? And people started just saying certain words that, we're not going to say.
Certain words that if I saw you in person and you said it in front of me, you'd be in the ground.
Somebody just sent me one of the worst things I've ever seen on Twitter. I was checking Twitter for Kaden the Diesel Freak. But Kaden, if you don't have Twitter, you can't get through to me. Nate will be doing a call-in show on Tuesday. So, you should be able to call in there. At some point, it was Vox Quindaro says it was 6 touchdowns, one missed point after, 8 field goals. Voila.
There you go. Vox AI is better than Gemini AI.
There you go. Vox Quindaro with the AI. Yeah, Kaden, I apologize. I can't do that for Moan After Dark, but let me figure out how to get the phone lines working again where we can hear everybody at the same time, and you can hear Rock and hear me and all that good stuff, and we will get you on. We'll do some phoners here at some point in time. But I appreciate all your super chats, dude, and I appreciate you being a member, and I appreciate you being a fun member of the community as well. He messaged me on Twitter. Let me see here. Requests. Okay. I will send you the link. Now, please don't show me your penis. I'm sure it's something to be proud of, but please don't. We'll take your word for it.
It's definitely the off season. Just don't make it. It's literally the off season.
Okay, I'm sending you over the link, Kaden the Diesel Freak. You can jump on here with us via StreamYard. You don't have to come on camera or anything like that. You can just do voice. That's fine. But you have the link. I just sent it over to you. Let me make sure I get to all these super chats. I want to make sure I didn't miss one. Did I miss one? I see you there, Kaden. I'll get to you in just a moment. I just think I might have missed a super chat, and I don't want to miss a super chat from Jacober Cat. Duke Bikini need a ball sack game. Him and that Duke Bikini. All right, Kaden, you are on the air. How are you doing, sir?
Mullen, Rockin' Man, how we doing?
Doing good, man.
It is overdue that this is finally has happened. But you know what? Thank you so much, Mullen. And trust me, old friend, I'm not going to be doing anything stupid like Notre Dame or NDSU fans or any of them dumb fan bases. Geez, like that can just go all out the door. So just trust me, bud. I'm hoping everybody can hear me though.
I think everybody can hear you. We can hear you.
We can hear. I assume that means we can. I know it's not on the screen with the voice. So if you're in chat, confirm that you can hear Kaden, please.
But yeah, Mullen, the whole FCS and all that talk is just driving me nuts. Now it's like I said earlier in the super chat, it's like now NDSU fans, North Dakota State fans, are just going to be like, oh, now we won the whole FCS, and now we're going to beg to move to the big powerhouse. And I'm like, oh God, are we going to have another Tennessee of the FBS where it's like a bunch of their drug fan base? And oh God, it's going to be awful. And you know, and Mullen, you read my super chat of the NDSU fans and Tennessee fans?
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I'm telling you now, it's going to happen.
I believe it, Kaden. What's your 40?
My 40?
Yeah, where are you located at?
About Central Ohio.
Central Ohio. There you go. I'm just outside of Athens in Nelsonville.
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. But Rock and Rant, I've been meaning to get a couple things off my chest to you.
Have at it.
One. Hey, you know what? The Miami Hurricanes played a heck of a game, and you guys had a good squad. And I think you guys will be a good team in the ACC. And I believe you guys are the only good team in the ACC as far as I am concerned. As far as the Miami Hurricanes go, as far as their fan base, yeah, they needed that. But that's the one thing I wanted to get off my chest today.
Sounds good. I like that one. You can keep going on that.
But Moen, and I said earlier in the last couple super chats, we'll be NDSU by 56-7, and then we'll be JMU 65-3. You're probably, and you want to ask about how we beat them? Oh, we beat them with the defense. Simple. Our defense just comes in there and flushes them down the toilet. Come on now.
Listen, I'm not saying Ohio State wouldn't beat them, Kaden. I'm just saying with Ohio State, I never take any chances. I've watched them go to Purdue and play a Purdue team that didn't deserve to be on the same field that absolutely smoked them.
Oh no, I remember that game, but I don't think that'll happen ever again. I'm not saying that to be stupid or delusional. I'm just saying with the amount of talent we have incoming, and with what we've got with Matt Patricia as our defensive coordinator, I think our defense is pretty well settled.
I think so too. It'll be interesting to see how they do this year without Caleb Downs running that backfield. I think Caleb Downs is the best player in the NFL draft.
Well, let me put this out into speculation here, Moen, as a Buckeye fan, but someone who is a big lover of the game personally, and somebody that knows the game pretty well. I mean, imagine if we had a guy recruited to Ohio State that was kind of similar to Big Bam Cam Chancellor, Sean Taylor, Brian Dawkins. Think about like those guys coming into Ohio State. Wouldn't that just be absolutely of a terror?
Well, I thought Styles was really kind of in that same vicinity as far as being a hard hitting and just nose for the ball and real speedy. But yeah, I mean like a pure guy. I mean like I get what you're saying. Yeah,
definitely. I want more of the heart and soul. I want more of the terrorizer at the safety position. Sean Taylor was quiet.
I want that at the linebacker position.
See, why can't you have a linebacker and a safety with the same energy? I mean, it wouldn't hurt the locker room either way.
I mean, you guys don't need to even have to have a safety at that level. You can even have, if you remember from watching the Miami Ohio State game, you could have a nickel like Keontae Scott played for Miami this year, who kind of was not quite to that level, but was hitting pretty damn hard and adding into the coverage, but also the ability to sack as well. So if you added them along with what you guys already had with Downs, that probably would have been a difference maker, as you saw in that game.
Right. But I mean, I'm just probably tooting my own horn, or I'm crazy. But but as far as the linebacker position, I would like to see someone like Zach Bourne, someone similar to Zach Bourne, intense, mean, but just a pure like silverback gorilla, just strong. Somebody that can manhandle offensive linemen. I swear, somebody needs to find somebody like Zach Bourne, because that dude is an absolute monster.
This may be before your time, but if you haven't seen it yet, look up Andy Katzenmoyer.
Oh, Andy Katzenmoyer? Oh, yeah, I've seen his
on
tape.
Missouri quarterback.
Oh, I've seen that tape before. It's insane.
It's insane the amount of force he hit that kid with. So I would love to see a linebacker like that, but
the NCAA. Here's the thing, Moen. The NCAA is afraid of genetically freakish kids that want to just come out there and just kill the guy. They're afraid of them. They're afraid of these guys because they know what they're capable of and how much destruction they're capable of. Because they don't want to be paying. Because they don't want to be seeing a guy from Ohio State laying out bodies everywhere, and then they go to the hospital. Oh, there goes an ambulance. There goes another ambulance. There goes another ambulance. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, hey, it's Julian Sands' season. It's probably going to be his last season there. Probably the same for Jeremiah Smith. Let's hope they win it all.
I can agree on that. And St. Clair, I think he's going to be a really good quarterback after this year.
I agree. He's stuck around. He's been part of the system, so he should know what he's doing.
And then also Chris Henry Jr. That guy, in my opinion, that guy is going to be a phenomenal receiver. A phenomenal.
Ungodly some of the routes he runs and the catches he makes. Well, Kaden, is there anything else you want to share with us tonight?
Other than that, I feel confident Ohio State, they're going to return the national championship. We'll win the national championship that we lost to a team that should have stayed at the bottom of the barrel and at the bottom of our boots, but unfortunately, they had to keep yipping and yapping their mouths off, which I can tell you their fan base, they're more annoying. Just about as annoying as jacked up Daniels, or what do you call them? Drunk on Jack Daniels Tennessee fans after 10 p.m. Oh my God. I don't know how many Tennessee fans drink that crappy whiskey. Oh my God. I don't understand.
Hey, I was a young man once too, Kaden. I was a young man and didn't understand the quality of whiskeys, and I was a Jack Daniels drinker myself.
Mullen, I'm 22 and I'm not even married, don't drink, and I'm still trying to tell people, why can't the NCAA allow Ohio State to have more monsters on their team? But unfortunately, there are too many cowards up there in suits and ties. They're afraid of body bags and ambulances leaving OSU because apparently a couple of monsters and genetic freaks were let loose in the locker room. Well, Woody Hayes was the guy who originally said, if you got someone about that size and about that ability, let them in there. They came to work and they came to do two things: win games and hurt people. That's all they did. So
appreciate you stopping by, Kaden. Silver bullets up.
Hey, Mullen, Rock and Rant. I'll catch you guys hopefully next time. And Mullen, I appreciate it. And go Bucks. And that team up north always sucks. Good sir.
That's right. Thanks a lot, Kaden.
Later, gentlemen.
All right. So we had Kaden, the Diesel Freak, joining us there for a minute. I will give everybody else that option here. If you want to join, you're going to have to message me on Twitter. I will have to, you have to message me on Twitter for me to give you the password, the unit thing. So I can't just put it in public chat, unfortunately. Even though I predicted a loss to Notre Dame, I can also see an upset at Lambeau. By God, Ryan, if Wisconsin beats Notre Dame at Lambeau, I'll give 20 memberships to the channel. I will do it. On Wisconsin, beat Notre Dame.
I would love to see that. I'd love to see it, because I though I am a big Notre Dame fan, in case you didn't know.
Hope Greg and his gold drip, by the way. Greg ripped me off in the gold drip department. Money Moen was along well before Greg the Gold. Doesn't neglect the ball sack game and does a voyeur party, even if it's an exhibition. Very well done, Jacoba Cat. Very well done, sir. So again, if anybody wants to join me, just shoot me a message request here. I don't see any message requests. Well, I see lots of message requests, but guess what? I don't want to chat for a bit. I doubt Chloe is really looking for a man. I'm not getting any stock picks from these people. So we'll hit comments. We'll hit as many comments as we can here. Thank you for the super chat again, Jacoba Cat. Let me see here. Let's do a little basketball.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games.
Oh. Boy, we got a lot of comments tonight. Busy night. Delaware, Western Kentucky, and Missouri states are better fits in the MAC than CUSA.
Yeah, I mean, I think Delaware would go great in the MAC. Missouri State, yeah, all of those could work.
Moen, does Youngstown State or UNI have a chance at the MAC now. I think they go after Western Kentucky and MTSU, maybe Marshall. Now, Marshall's been in the MAC before. Marshall was in the MAC and left. But then again, Northern Illinois was in the MAC before and left and came back and left again. So I'd like to see the MAC expand. I think there's a lot of options for the MAC, especially in the Midwest. Very passionate fan bases. Hey, the University of Miami at Ohio, undefeated in basketball for the first time in school history. I think they're 26 or 27-0. But yeah, I'd love to see the MAC expand. I just don't want to see the MAC expand to freaking Sacramento State.
I think they watched too many of Greg's shows and this channel shows and realized they needed another time slot.
And by the way, Nate is trying to secure an interview with the president, Dr. Wood of Sacramento State. We'll see. Yes, the president of Sac State is Dr. Wood.
Which is exactly, it's literally just about ball sack for the Woody.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Kaden bringing up Woody Hayes. I understand you can't pay $5 million and move up. You have to be in a conference. Yes. Rock said as much earlier. Appalachian State to the Big Ten. Michigan fans are nervous. I still can't believe we haven't had a rematch of that yet.
Stormy would love that. that vicarious payback to another Big Ten team. I'm sure that Stormy's looking for anyone to take out pain on Big Ten teams who rated schools, whether it be Penn State or Michigan.
Absolutely. All right. I just wanted to check my message requests real quick. Mullen phone calls as members only shows. We might. We've talked about doing a members only hour at the Big Freaking Friday show, but that requires Mullen staying sober for 3 hours. But yeah, we've had discussions about doing a members only stream the last hour, having kind of a chill Q&A kind of thing, having some different people on. Rock might come on a show like that because it would be more his time being on the West Coast. Becky would definitely want to come on that stream. Sergeant Pickle said he might be interested. So stay tuned. We might do something like that someday, or just do a members only stream randomly. Talk some stuff, especially when I got some inside info I want to share. Stormy Cyclone likes your backdrop.
It is a view from LA, for downtown LA, from the coast towards the mountains, from a high enough perch and a good enough lens.
Yeah, I was interesting. Kaden said he didn't drink, but I think he may have been partaking in some stuff.
There's a lot of ways to get to the same place.
That's right. That's right.
Or he could just have been like super excited and high on life and just watch my new favorite Olympic sport of what is it, skimo, where they're literally running up the friggin' mountain and then skiing back down. That's insane shit. They probably get high on life.
They must. It's like curling for me. It's just, man, I see curling and I just go nuts. Jumping up, punching the air, going, yeah, push that broom.
It's like curling's ASMR. It's about the best background sport there's ever been created.
That's just because the commentator's going, yes, and then you get the 26 kilogram stone across the ice, and she's really shoveling. You'll notice she's pushing that with the counterwise clockroom passion because she really wants to get that broom to smooth that ice out in there. Oh, and what a wonderful shot!
Shonsky just lost me right there. Sorry, that's why I wasn't laughing at you though, because I just saw Shonsky's last comment.
San Diego State is a huge San Diego State. South Dakota State is a huge university. I think they may try to move up. South Dakota State should join the MAC too. Hey, you know the price. The MAC is open for business. Question now becomes, what next for the MAC? Just put Sac State out on an island all by themselves, or actually get more West Coast schools? Can you get more West Coast schools that are going to pay you $18 million?
There really aren't a lot of football playing West Coast schools that I think they could even get. You know, it's the FCS.
What about Idaho? Isn't Idaho still an FCS?
Idaho's still an FCS, correct? They at one point, if I'm not mistaken, were part of the FBS at football and went back down. I don't know if I'm 100% correct on that. They had an association. I'll try to find out. Yeah, I guess Idaho maybe is a potential. I guess I don't necessarily consider they're Western, but the Montanas and the Grizz, Montana, Montana State, South Dakota State, they're not really the West Coast, but they are Western.
Tarleton to the MAC, says Kenneth Maynor. Sure, smoke them if you got them.
Idaho was FBS.
Yeah.
From 1996 to 2017, and they were in the Sun Belt, but returned to FCS 18. They were the first program to drop from FBS to FCS.
Well, maybe we'll start seeing more of that.
Due to financial, geographic, and performance factors, according to AI Answer.
That'd be a sneaky good move. Steal Tarleton from the Mountain West and Conference USA. Tarleton did really good in the FCS playoffs this year. We need 6 more teams to move up to go to 144. Then Power 2 becomes Tier 1. Then best of FCS and FBS form Tier 2. And Tier 3 is new FCS. 3 tiers, 48 teams, each with 24-team playoff per tiers. Wow.
This show is more off the rails than Sacramento State going to the MAC.
That is, I'm shocked that you got that in your head there, brother. God
1
damn.
plus 2 plus 2 plus 1.
There was only one shot that got the chandelier. That's 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1.
Even if you were right, that would be 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1, not 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1.
But the Power 2 would need to move up to 24 teams to make a 24-team one viable. Skeleton going headfirst on a sled track. That's Evil Badger's favorite Olympic sport in the Winter Olympics. Figured he'd be a hockey guy, but he likes skeleton.
I love all those things on the track. Bobsled, those two. I don't know what's more insane, going head first where you can see really well on a track at that speed, or going feet first where you could barely see, trying to steer it going down the track. I mean, they both are borderline insane. But I would like to take a bobsled ride one time at like Lake Placid or something. They do those.
I like the figure skating where they're holding the women and their legs are out and their head's right there. I wanted to try a move like that last night, but my back wouldn't do it. To those new to the MAC, how best to handle your first ball sack game is to warm your fingers by sitting on your hands in the back seat of a Buick LeSabre. What, LeSabre? Really? I thought a Mercury Grand Marquis would definitely be preferable to a Buick LeSabre, but hey, maybe that's just, hey.
I mean, just go way back and get a Pontiac Grand Prix out of it, or a Monte Carlo.
You ain't gonna get no chicken a Grand Prix in the back. Come on, man.
You
Come
couldn't
on.
get it with a freaking LeSabre either. Buicks don't score unless they're 60 years old or more.
There you go. Maybe New Mexico State becomes a viable option. Yikes.
That would add a mountain time slot, right?
Notre Dame at BYU this year might be the Catholic versus convicts games at the rate BYU's putting players behind bars. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that honor system, I don't know. Dr. Johnson had other commitments. That's why we have to rely on Dr. Wood. And his name is Luke Wood. So I wonder if his middle name is Warm. Michigan fears Appalachian State. 100%. It's second Saturday for those who that have President's Day off tomorrow. That's true. There's some people who have President's Day off. I'm not one of them. I got to work. I got to go to the feed store. We had 16 inches of snow last week, and this week it is 50, and it's just mud and shit in my backyard. It is filled with dog shit, and it is filled with mud. And there is no in between. Just trying to find any little patch of clean grass to step on is impossible. So, and it rained this morning, and there's supposed to be fog and rain in the morning. So you can't just,
If the dirt looks like it's smoking, don't step on it.
Yeah, well, these are the things. The dog shits, and then it snows, and it conceals it. And you don't know that there's dog shit there until after the snow melts and you've stepped in it. And my dog shits anywhere where anybody walks. He smells where people walk, and that's where he shits. And there's just no way around it. And he shits twice a day. He is a twice-a-day shitter.
And he should get an NIL deal with Metamucil because he's regular
he
as hell.
should. He should get an NIL deal with Colon Blow the way he goes. Fucking koala hunch out there. Thanks again, Moen. Fucking legend. You're right. I'm a fucking legend. Stephen Vitt. I think Stephen Vitt lives here in Ohio with me. He knows what I'm talking about. It's just mud and shit. Shit and mud, mud and shit. Let's go get some earlier ones here. I'd still rather be a MAC fan than a CUSA fan. Hey, look, man, I love the MAC, Steven. You know, I love MACtion. I think it's great. I just hate the idea of Sacramento being in the MAC. It makes no sense whatsoever. At least Stanford and Cal in the ACC, you've got that SMU layover.
Yeah, I think it should just be an official law that your conference name requires the name conference to come last.
Mid-American Conference, Conference USA. Well, if it was USA Conference, I don't know.
Then you'd be the American Conference, but the American
Then you'd
Conference
be the
is
American
not the
Conference.
American Conference. Now it's just the American.
The American. CUSA is doomed, says Kenneth Maynor. Go Tigers is pulling for an Army of 48 breakaway. Might get
Craig's
it.
going to be mad.
You might get it, but you're going to have to figure out the 24 that the SEC's getting. We'll do a special members only video on that one next for Opie. We're going to do SEC odds maker using the exact same algorithm we used for the Big Ten one. We need the wooden nickel game. I don't remember that one. Makes what Liberty did appear on the up and up. When Tarleton moves up and plays Indiana and Coach Sig, it will be epic.
It truly will be.
Scrotum Bowl. I just wanted to say Scrotum Bowl.
It could be the whatever a cough syrup cough bowl.
Sacramento is like if Cleveland was in California. Really? Sacramento State. Very well put, Carla.
I think Carla wins that one.
You got it. You got it. There's your applause. Almost like Sac State and NIU should swap conferences.
There were multiple good memes, but there was one of those memes with the two cars driving by each other and heading in the opposite direction, and it was, the girl was Sac State and the guy was NIU.
Kyo 187. I like the FCS moves to the FBS. North Dakota State, I'm very happy they moved up as well as Sacramento State. Now let's start conference realignment in FBS. You're going to have to wait a couple years, but rest assured it's coming. If you didn't catch Friday's show, Kai, I think you were there, but you may not have caught the end of it where I shared some slides from that member show. the odds are by 2036, there's going to be a 24-team conference out there. So, Jacobra Cat live call-in. We need some laughs. Jacobra Cat, somebody's throwing down the gauntlet. Stormy Cyclone's throwing down the gauntlet. He wants to be living.
You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
Late night with Jacobra Cat on Saturdays.
Saturday night Jacobra Cat live. Probably be funnier than Saturday Night Live. Thank you for the super chat, Stormy Cyclone. Is the Ballsack rivalry trophy a Roman war helmet? I got the reference. I did. But we always called it a Roman Legion helmet.
I think the coin tosser for that will be Lorena Bobbitt.
Evening Mafia. Good to see you, Bulldog, Mississippi.
What's up, Bulldog?
Much appreciated. Liberty to the MAC also makes travel sense. Liberty would dominate the MAC. Liberty would probably dominate in the MAC. I'd have, especially with Jason Candle leaving Toledo. I have a hard time seeing
Be in good
anybody.
shape.
Movie Time Blue says, always look on the bright side of death. Life's a piece of shit when you look at it. Life's a laugh and death's a joke. It's true. Or wait, something like that. Akron, Kent State, University of Louisiana Monroe, and Charlotte look like candidates to drop down to FCS. Leave Akron and Kent State alone, all right? They've had a lot of problems. Lots of problems. Geo Metro or Chevy Cavalier? I'm taking the Chevy Cavalier. If the question is which, either or, I'm taking the Chevy Cavalier. I'm not happy about it, but I'm taking it.
Geo Metro's like a deathmobile.
I think all the Geo Metros finally rusted away.
I mean, you have a better shot on a Pinto from the 70s.
Why not merge the MAC and the Mountain West? National conferences are the rage now. I don't think this is a terrible idea. I really don't. You have the MAC and you have the Mountain West division.
The MAC.
Mwack. Mwack. Remember there was a MEAC? Game day ball sack guest picker is Riley Reed. I want it to be the Hawk Tua girl. Just saying.
Opening act is elephantitis.
This is just filth. Pure filth.
Family entertainment? Bollocks. What they want is filth. People doing things to each other with chainsaws during Tupperware parties. Babysitters being stabbed with knitting needles by gay presidential candidates. Vigilante groups strangling chickens.
Thank you for another super chat to Cobra Cat. Let's get one more comment in here, and then we're going to do our last call for the evening. I'm going to keep calling them San Diego State. South Dakota State, better choice. They have around 12,000 students and are a land-grant university. MAC plus Mountain West, low-key Power 4 after the ACC dies off. Well, I don't think the ACC is going to die off, but I don't think the ACC is going to be Power 4 either. I think at that point, we're probably going to be at G19, G20, something around those lines, Mississippi. Mac has everything now from sack to mass holes. Oh, man. And I guess that means the rest of the country in between is just a taint. The gooch. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We're going to do our last call for the evening. Thank everybody for the super chats. Thank Kaden for calling in and talking to us tonight. We appreciate that. Now we're going to do our last call, and I will start with you, Rock. What is your last call?
I don't even know what to say after this show. I did. Bomber's got a new show, new episode he's doing early this week, I believe, that I'm on. So look for that. It's filling up the content, I think, on Tuesday, where we talk about a few different year-end wrap-up episodes. And if you haven't checked out CFB Express, try going over there. I think next week probably we're going to have at least one, if not two, agents on the show to go into the seedy underbelly and craziness behind NIL and recruiting from an agent's perspective. So we'll let you know for sure when that's happening. But look, this last 2 weeks we had realignment moves, so I don't know what to look for this week. I'm going to watch some more Olympics, and I'm sure something insane will happen in college football because there's no off season.
Absolutely. I want to get to one more comment here. After seeing all of the ball sack references in chat, Mrs. Quindaro said, "Boys are stupid," and off to bed she went. And I will leave that with no comment and just show you the hat. It is a shit show outside. I am a shit show supervisor. I got to get up at 7 a.m. in the morning and get to the feed store and get some cedar shavings because I have got water and chicken shit flowing everywhere. It's not fun, guys. It's not fun, but I do enjoy the eggs.
Hey, Mo, look in the bright side. If you don't enjoy liquid form or capsule form of NyQuil, you could just watch this show and your wife can get to bed.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Thanks everybody for joining us. I want to thank everybody who left super chats, popped their membership cherries here. Kaden the Diesel Freak, Jacobra Cat, Kenneth Maynard, Greg's Disney Adventure Expedition, Greg, Sergeant Pickles, Stormy Cyclone, the Evil Badger, Ryan Willie. So many great super chats tonight. You guys had us laughing. I hope we were able to make you laugh as well. We will catch you guys next Sunday. Next show is tomorrow, I believe. That video with you and Nate is dropping. And then will be Tuesday. You will have Nate's Bombers Blitz, which will be a call-in show. And he may have Dr. Wood by then. He may be paging Dr. Wood as we're speaking. So definitely you will want to check that out. Until next time, peace out. Stay good. Have a nice week.